Good happy Saturday morning to you all. Welcome back to jensmeramecvalleyhome, where we always got something going on. And today we're going to be canning some pinto beans. I have bought 5 pounds of pinto beans, dry pinto beans, and that should make about 7 quarts, good quarts of pinto beans. So I'm going to take you through the process. I've already kind of did some of the prep work, but I can walk you through this. So we started off with quart jars. I'm using quart jars, and we washed them and dried them thoroughly, and now I've got them inside my pressure canner here, and they're just staying really kind of not hot but really warm. And so I've got my 7 quart jars in there. I've got my my seals and my rings, and luckily we do not have to sterilize those anymore, so just wash those good and dry them and they're good to go. We've got some canning salt, pickling salt. I did add a few Ham Hocks to the mix this morning when I was cooking the beans, or boiling them. So I've got those chopped up here and ready to go. So what I did is I soaked my beans overnight. And you can put a little bit of vinegar in there. Some people say that helps with the digestion. You can put a little salt in there if you like. But I just left mine the way they are and let them soak really good overnight. Now, this morning I took those beans and I drained them, and I looked through them because you never know, sometimes you got really hard little rock type textury things in there, and you want to pick those out and discard them. So just look through those, drain those. And then I had a great big stock pot. If you don't have a great big stock pot, 2 larger pots, like 2 Dutch oven pots, will probably do just fine for you. But so I cooked my Ham Hocks in with my pinto beans, and all I did was I brought them up to a boil, timed them for 30 minutes, and basically cut them back off. And now they're over here cooling on my other counter. So they're cooling down just a little bit over there. I washed my jars thoroughly. I got them all cleaned up and ready to go. Like I said, they're in here and they're ready to be taken out and filled up. I have some vinegar here to wipe the rims of my jars, and so I think we've got everything we need. I've got my canning funnel, and let me pull my jar lifter and my gauge. My weight, rather, for my lid when we get to that point. So, and I'm gonna add a little bit more water to this. I don't know that we're going to need it, but if we do, to add to the water in the pressure canner, then I will have it hot and ready. If I don't need it, I don't need it. So we're just gonna do that. most of the time when you put the jars in there, it covers it up pretty well. So we'll put that on and let that cook. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to get ready here to start the process of the canning, and I will take you through that process, and then we're going to put them back in here into the canner, and we'll discuss what we need to do with it at that point. So we'll go ahead and we'll be getting our jars out. We'll be getting ready to put the product, which is our pinto beans, and we'll get those into our pressure canner. Now, always use a pressure canner when you do these. You can't use a water bath canner. It has to be a pressure canner. But I guarantee you, you'll have some really good beans that you can just take out of your pantry during the winter. You come home, you don't feel like cooking. Hey, make you a batch of biscuits or cornbread and open up a can of those and heat them up, and you've got a meal. So we'll be doing that in just a minute, and we'll walk you through the process. All right, so as you can tell, they are nice and warm. These are going to be so good, y'all. This is just the best way to do it. I mean, you can buy them at the store already made up in the jars. You're going to pay a few dollars for a jar of them. But you can also buy beans in a bag. I bought 4 pounds through Amazon, and I think I paid, I'm not sure, I forget how much I paid for them, and then I bought 1 pound at Walmart just so I'd have the 5 pounds. Now, I had the pounds at the 1 pound packages at Walmart are like 82 cents. So, you know, definitely cheap enough. And like I said, you can have them, you know, throughout the winter. All right, so we're going to, this is still coming, not to a boil, but I'm keeping it hot. Adjust that, make sure that that's, keep telling my husband my next stove is going to be a gas stove, but I can't do that. It'll be a better electric stove, but this one is getting old, but I'm going to use it until it just doesn't want to go anymore. All right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to take and put a teaspoon of pickling salt down into each of the jars. You know, doesn't have to be exact. We're just putting some salt in there. And I use, well, you can not use the regular salt. I use the Morton canning and pickling salt. You can buy that at Walmart, wherever you find your canning supplies. You can get it on Amazon as well. And I can leave a description for that, a link to get to that. All right, so we've got our pickling salt. Now we're ready to do our beans. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this over here for now. Make a little room here. I have a huge pot of beans here. Huge pot. Now I do need my my ladle. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna dredge these up, and we're gonna start filling our cans. And as always, we're always going to just take it right to that this first rim, right on this jar here. Okay, we're gonna move along to the next one. If I have beans left over, I'm just gonna put them, if there's enough to do another batch, which I don't know that there's gonna be. Oh, and you know what? I wanna add to it some of our good pork there. Okay, now we're gonna continue, and I didn't do it in that other jar, but that's all right. We'll get it here. And then we're just gonna keep filling it up with some liquid till we get to that, because you want to leave some head space, enough for it to have the room, so when it's cooking, it has room in there to expand. May not have any beans left over. We'll have to wait and see. Okay. Just keep adding some of our pork in. Now, Ham Hocks are getting kind of expensive at the store. Well, everything's going up at the store. And this is why I like to do this, because we just don't know how much food is going to go up in price And I had seen, I don't know about in your area, but you know, there was some shelves that weren't stocked like they should be. So we never know what we're going to contend with. So it's always good to have these extra meals on hand. I do it because it makes sense to me to do it. I haven't always canned. My mother used to can, and I did used to dehydrate a lot when my kids were young because they always liked the dehydrated foods and snacks, especially jerky. I would make beef jerky. And that was always a big hit, especially with my son. He always loved that. These kind of just don't want to come out of there, do they? Add a few pieces to this. There, it's not really hurting the head space there, so. I don't know, let's see. I think I'm gonna pull these over. Like I said, if I have enough of them, to make another small batch, I'll put them back and do those tomorrow. We're just going to keep filling it up. Okay, and then we've got our last one here. We'll just put that all in there. Now my canner will only fit 7-quart jars. So we've got, I think I am going to have enough to can the rest of these tomorrow. We're going to get that out of the way. So I'll just add all that together and set it back, and it'll work just fine. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our little vinegar here. Just going to wet it, and we're just going to wipe the rims. And the reason why we wipe them is to make sure that our lids seal properly. Because there's nothing worse than you putting all your hard work into something and then it just doesn't want to seal. I mean, push comes to shove, you would just have to eat it up within a few days. But now we're going to put our seals on. Yeah, it's really not a hard process at all. There is some prep that goes into it, but you know, that's okay. We can do that. Now, when we're putting our lids on, we just want them finger tight. We don't want to really screw it on there hard. You just want it finger tight. These will be so good. And like I said, tomorrow afternoon I'll make up another, probably get about another 4 or 5 quarts out of it. So, we'll see. So now we're going to put them back into the canner and let them cook in the canner. All right, so we are back to putting our cans into our pressure canner here. And I can see that it might need some more water. I don't know. We'll see by the time we get all the jars in there. Leave a little space there. Leave a little bit of space between your jars so they don't break during processing. See, there's going to be plenty of water, maybe too much water, I don't know. There's at least a couple of inches. I am not going to need that water. So I'm just going to pour it in my dishwater now. I might just rinse this real good. Might have to back off some of this water here. You don't want too much water in it. At least it's coming up to its boil. Starting to anyway. it's to the point where it's probably got enough over it now. Just a little bit of water there. All right. So now is the time to put our lid on. Now I've got a dial gauge on mine. We're just gonna set it on top here. See how it fell into place. And we're just going to try to get it on there right. There we go. Now it is completely locked. It's completely locked. So what we want to do is we're going to make sure that this comes up to enough of a boil, and I'm going to turn it up, enough of a boil to where we start seeing some steam coming out of this little stack over here, like a little funnel of steam. And then we're going to put our little weight on there and bring it up to 10 pounds of pressure. And once it comes to 10 pounds of pressure, then we've got to maintain that pressure for 90 minutes. Got to cook these for 90 minutes. So right now I'm just going to wait and see when I get a good funnel of steam coming out of there. And then I'm going to put my little weight on it, and then it's going to build up the steam. And once it gets to 10 pounds of pressure, then we're going to maintain it. So you don't want it to fall a pound below or a pound above. You just kind of want it to be right at that 10 pounds or thereabouts, just right in that range. So if it falls below the 10 pounds too much, then you're going to have to start the process all over again of timing it. So just keep watch on it. Don't leave your canner, kind of stay in the area. So usually what I do is I do things around my kitchen while this process is going on. So this is what we're going to do, and we'll come back as soon as we see some results here going on, and we'll check back with you in just a few. So you can see now we've got a nice amount of little bit of steam coming out of the funnel here. And so now it's time we're going to put our weight on. So we're just going to fit it on there. Now it's on there. And we're going to watch to build up some steam here, some pressure inside this pressure canner, so that we can get it up to 10 pounds of pressure. And then we'll start timing it for 90 minutes. So we'll come back when it's reached that point. All right, so it has been an hour and 30 minutes that we have pressure cooked these. We have brought it down to 0. You gotta wait till the gauge comes back down to 0 before you open it up. So we're gonna open this up now. I've kind of loosened it a little bit, but we're gonna open it. And always open it away from you. There we go. All right, so as you can kind of see, we've got a lot of steam coming out of here, so you have to be very, very careful. Okay, so we're gonna take these out of the water, and I've got my trusty jar lifters. Look at that. Put them on a dry towel so they can cool off. And you want to hear the popping sound of the lid sealing. Sometimes it takes a few. Look at that, they are still boiling. All right, so we have 7 quarts of pinto beans that we can put away for the winter. So I've been hearing some popping sounds here. It looks like 2 or 3 of them. There went another one, 4 of them. Looks like they're going to all seal, and we're just going to let these cool down for about 12 to 24 hours. Then you can, store them wherever you store your canned foods. I so appreciate you coming today and watching this video on how to can pinto beans. And if you like these videos, please subscribe and share and give me a like down below. And if you have any comments, you can leave them on my email account. I'll have that in the description. And as always, thank you for coming, and have a wonderful rest of your day, and don't let your heart be troubled.